So this is probably the biggest thing I've ever done in my life. I bought a house. I mean, seriously, how often does the average person just buy a house in their life? I mean, most people do move around, but this just feels extra special because we're moving to a place that we can actually call our own. No more renting, baby. Only a 25-year mortgage. Okay, so before I even go into the decision and the backstory part of this video, we are actually right in the middle of moving and we are gonna be doing our full move in 2 days. So that's why my studio looks pretty empty right now. I mean, I have like a lamp and a monitor and that's pretty much it. But the next video, it's gonna be in the new place. Stay tuned for that. So I did already make a video called Things Will Be Changing, but Change is Good. And that pretty much goes over a lot of the backstory. So I'm just gonna quickly recap this part because I already made a full video on that, link down below. But in a nutshell, me and my girlfriend have been renting in her parents' place for the last like 3 years here. And you know what? It's been a fun time. We saved a ton of money because rent was super cheap. And I think one of the best parts is that while we were renting for the last 3 years, her parents didn't even live here. They lived somewhere else. But in the last 6 months, her parents moved back, so as you can imagine, being a 25-year-old, it's not great living in the basement of your parents' girlfriend's place when they're upstairs and you're downstairs, and it's time to go. So since the renting market where we live is so messed up, I mean, seriously, it's like $3 grand a month for like something even just decent. Okay, maybe not $3 grand, but I do have certain requirements and it's gonna be kind of expensive to get those. We decided it's just worth it to just buy a house instead. Like, I'm not even kidding, we already did the math. It's only like a few $100 extra a month, and at least we're building equity. And I think one of the biggest things is if you're gonna be spending like $3 grand a month on rent, may as well put it into your own equity rather than paying off someone else's mortgage. Right? Like, I don't know. I know, like, obviously buying a house is not something that everyone can just do. There is a huge barrier to entry, and that's why most people don't do it. But in our situation, we are definitely extremely blessed, and we're grateful for everything that we've had in the last 3 years and the savings and, you know, our income and everything. So everything just worked out. So let's talk about why we're moving and just why it matters so much too, because that's also really important to this whole process and everything. And well, me and my girlfriend are 25 years old. We're kind of at the age where, you know what, like we could continue living here, but we've decided, you know, I think it's just time to go. We've decided it's just time to move out and just start living more. And I feel like being confined to this little space, like definitely limits our growth, especially my growth. I'm going to talk about me for a second. I feel stuck in this current setup. What I have right here, this space, this is like barely even mine. So being able to get my own office, which that's going to be part of it, it's going to be sick. I just can't wait to finally have my own space. We're just at such a good point in our life where we're young, we're both software developers that work fully remote, and we have so much freedom, and it just makes sense. So in the triangle of life, you've probably heard this thing, there's like 3 points, and you can usually only have 2 out of 3 at a given point in your life, and which is time, energy, and money. So, you know, like when you're a kid, you have all the time and energy, but no money. When you're at this age right now where you're like in your mid-20s, you have energy and money, but you don't have time. And then, you know, when you're about to retire, you have time and money, but you don't have energy. You understand, you probably heard that before. I'll probably put a picture on screen too. But we're in that rare little spot where we actually have all 3. Time, money, and energy. And I think it just makes sense to take advantage of it. Also, this is something that we've just been dreaming about for years. I mean, we've been together for 6 years now, so. And honestly, it's just about time that we take this step and start the next big chapter of our life because it's time. Okay, so now comes the search and the decision-making process, which this was such a tiring step. So now that you know why buying a house was just so important to us, now we had to start making some tougher choices. So we had a list of criteria that we just had to get. Now, obviously, we don't make a ton of money. We're not like mega rich or anything. So we did have to keep a budget in mind. I mean, I think everybody has to keep a budget in mind when they're buying a house because we wanted to not only buy a house, but also not be house poor. That's like the last thing that we wanted. And that's actually the reason why we put it off for so long. We just wanted to have more savings and just be more comfortable. So the main thing that the space had to have, we didn't have that many things that we wanted, but for sure I needed to have my own space, my own office, because what I have right here, this is my drumming area. It's my studio, my recording, my work, my workout, like my gym, like everything is here in this room. So the new place had to have a room that I could fit all my stuff and basically just recreate this setup because I love this setup and I want to do it again. Next, it had to have a garage because here in Canada, when it hits -30, cars don't start. Also, I just like knowing that my car is protected, not only against elements, but just, you know, people trying to steal it. So it's nice that it's in a garage and just like, you know, it's private. And also I like having a garage for more storage. So That's another plus. And I also like doing my own maintenance, you know, like changing my tires, stuff like that. So I can just do that in my garage, which is another great thing. It's a good money saver. And then of course, location. That's definitely number one when it came to our decision making, because we did not want to live in the middle of nowhere. You can get a beautiful house for a great price, but all you have to do is live in the middle of nowhere. And we just didn't want that. Like, especially when we're young, we wanted to live in like a nice, like, community where there's just so much going on, and that's actually why we got a townhouse instead of like a detached house. So that's another thing. So definitely staying kind of central in our city was a big requirement, and I think we kind of nailed that. So happy about that. Now let's talk about the search itself, because that was also another nightmare. Bro, it is rough out there. If you find a place you like, you better act on it fast or it's gonna be gone in like 2 weeks. Houses move fast, and we saw that firsthand. There were a lot of great places that were actually in our price range, but we just weren't fast enough and they were gone. So we started our search probably like a month before actually getting this place. We only started our search at like maybe the beginning of September. So things really did move very fast. Like, I'm talking beginning of September, we start looking, end of September, we're about to close on the house. That's how fast this whole thing happens. And the house that we're moving into wasn't actually the first house that we picked. We actually did have another house that we put a bid on, and bro, we got outbid by like 40K and someone who had zero conditions. Like, they bought the house in cash. How the hell am I supposed to compete against that? That's how rough this market is.
Like, seriously, real estate is nuts, bro.
But once we found the place that we currently are moving into, we had to move fast because there was also another bidder who was interested, and we got into a bit of a bidding war, but I'm happy to report we did not pay over asking. We actually paid slightly under asking, and we won. But yeah, once we actually won that bidding war and we got an accepted offer, then came the condition period, which was a whole other thing in itself too. So we had 3 conditions. We required condo docs to be reviewed, we required an inspection, and financing, because we're not buying the house in cash. So basically with condo docs, because we're moving into a townhouse condo, we have a condo board, so we need to make sure that the docs are in line, make sure the finances are good. And you know, they looked pretty good. We did review them in depth and we were happy with it, so we just went with it. Next up was inspection. This one's pretty obvious. If you're buying a house, you probably want to get it inspected. You know, make sure like the foundation isn't broken, or I don't know, like there's leaks everywhere that you're not even aware of, you know, stuff like that. And the inspection passed with flying colors. There's only like little minor issues and we've already corrected them. And then finally, financing. This is pretty straightforward. We have a mortgage now. Yeah, it's debt, but honestly, out of all the debts you could have, a mortgage isn't actually that bad. So once the conditions were settled and everything was happy, we're satisfied, then came a lot of waiting and lawyers. And let me tell you, there is a lot of waiting. You're almost stressed out waiting for things to happen. And I don't know, you're just kind of sitting there like, it's weird. It's a really weird process. But yeah, honestly, the paperwork wasn't even that bad. It was just the waiting that sucked. I did not like the waiting. You're just waiting that everything falls into place properly and that everything just goes through on time, because that's the part that's stressful, is you don't know if it's actually going to be good until it's good. And not only that, but we had a New York City vacation right before closing. Literally 2 days before our possession date. We took possession on October 7th and we came back from New York on October 5th. We planned this week-long New York City vacation in April, and we had no idea we were going to be buying a house in April.
Oh yeah.
The timing was just crazy on that. Basically, I was dealing with chronic stress for about 2 months straight, and I'm still stressed because we haven't even moved yet. Like, this house is going to be empty in like 3 days. Also, another thing is I literally know nothing about homeownership or mortgages or all this stuff. Like, there was a lot of learning that had to be done too, and it is a lot all at once, and it's definitely like information overload. And then also trying to manage a vacation, still working full time. Like, I didn't take any days off. I'm doing all this while I'm still working my job. It's crazy. But basically, there's just a ton of emotional highs and lows that go into buying a house and just searching for the house and all this stuff. Definitely lots of excitement and disappointment. You know, like losing the bid to the house was not very fun, but definitely did teach me a lot about how this market works, I'll tell you that. But goddamn, was all of this worth it? Worth the wait, worth the effort, the patience, everything, because we did it. We finally have a place that we can call our own. Okay, so now let's move to the moving section. So, because we haven't actually moved, as I am clearly showing you right now, this is all being filmed in the old area. I mean, this half of the video, but the second half is gonna have to be filmed a few days later after I move, so I can give you a more accurate, I guess, depiction of this whole thing. So let me just fast forward with some editing magic. Whoa, looks like we're in the new studio. Okay, so now I can officially talk about the move now that I'm actually moved in. I've also been living here for about a week now, so that's why I haven't been uploading, and I hope you didn't unsubscribe in like the month that I haven't posted. Okay, but yeah, let's just quickly talk about how we ended up doing this move, because it was not like your conventional pack up everything and move it all in one day. It was like a little bit different. So it's definitely stressful having to plan everything all in one day, but we were lucky as we were able to leave some stuff behind because we weren't getting kicked out of our old place. So with that said, we could just leave some things that we didn't need right away. We could like pack the essentials first, you know, and just do loads back and forth. But because of the whole situation, it just made moving so much easier, and all we had to do was just hire movers for like the big stuff, you know, like for mattresses and the elliptical. And then we just kind of took small things over time, you know, like basically for like a week straight, we would just like do a small load after work, go there, drop some stuff off, go to Home Sense or something, or like Walmart, and just pick up some stuff for the house that we didn't actually have, bring it over, set it up, come back. That was pretty much our day for like a week straight. Like it was just so chaotic. It kind of became routine for like a little bit, but now that it's over, it's just, thank God it's over and I can just live now. But now let's actually talk a little bit more about the actual big moving day itself, because it was a very long day. So basically the movers came around like 9:30 in the morning on a Saturday, and like they are fast. Let me tell you that. We were not ready for them. They were going way too fast for us. We were like packing things as they were moving, and like it was just so crazy. But for reference, it took them about 3.5 hours from arriving at our place to leaving our new place. That's how fast they moved everything in our house. It was just so fast. Did I mention it was really fast? Like I think usual large regular sized houses, like a full house would take about 8 hours to do, from like moving from the old place to the new place. You know, like that includes packing, you know, 4 hours there, 4 hours unpacking, stuff like that. But for us, I mean, it did the whole thing in under 4 hours. So it just kind of shows how little stuff we had. But yeah, after the movers were done, it was pretty much just like unpacking, setting up our furniture, you know, just getting everything ready. I mean, getting this set up took me a while to get my computer all set up and like just get the whole thing the way I like it. And this is kind of like an impromptu studio. I mean, it doesn't look the greatest. I think my lighting is wrong. Like, I think this is too cool of a lighting, and like, I don't know. First video recording here, so just, I mean, even the audio, it's a little echoing here. I got some work to do, basically is what I'm saying. Again, this is only a 1,300 square foot townhouse. We don't have that much stuff, and like we don't even have that much room either. So it's like we kind of had to be selective with what we took, and like it's not like we own much to begin with, so it's great. It worked out. Okay, so now that the move is all done and I've been living here for about a week, let's talk about the new house itself and just how it is. So first impressions of this place. Wow, that's all I have to say. This place is just amazing. It fits all of our stuff perfectly. It's just big enough that we have like a lot of room and a lot of places to do things, but it's also small enough that like we don't have to worry about having a bunch of empty places. You know, like everything just fits perfectly. It's absolutely perfect for just both of us and our 2 cats. So I couldn't be happier, man. This is just like such a good choice. Now, obviously, it's not perfect. No house is perfect though. But with that said, I feel like this is like the closest thing to perfection, especially within our budget and price range. Also, this was actually the first house we did a viewing for. And I know they usually say don't pick the first thing you see, but we saw like 10 houses after this one, and like none of them were just even close. There was like that one that we lost the bid on that came close, but honestly, kind of happy we lost the bid. I think this was better. I just think this one is like the best overall package. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it has everything we need and like not anything more or less. And now I think it's time I give you a quick tour. Front entrance closet, front entrance stairway, dining room, elliptical, living room, balcony number 1, bathroom number 1, kitchen, hallway, balcony number 2, stairs to the upstairs, doorway to bedroom, laundry, master bedroom, balcony number 3. Why does this place have so many balconies? Walk-in closet, me inside walk-in closet, bathroom number 2, my office and playroom, door to secret closet, me inside secret closet. Alright fellas, so this has been quite a journey in just so many different ways. But let's just reflect on this whole thing before I wrap up, because there is a lot that just happened and this is going to be a long video. I already know it. Now I feel like symbolically this house just like represents a new beginning for me and my girlfriend, and like I'm just happy that we've taken this step. I'm so glad that we did what we did. We could have just stayed comfortable and, you know, just kept living for cheap rent, but it felt stagnant. This felt like the right step to take. This is a huge deal for us, and like I don't think we could be happier with this decision. Yes, it's a scary one for sure, but you just have to take risks and you have to take big ones if you want to have big rewards. You got to do things that scare you if you want to progress in life. And I feel like buying a house is like perfect for that. It's like the definition of that. Now, I'm not saying you have to buy a house to grow, but for me personally and where I am in life, I feel like this was the necessary step to take. So what I've learned in just this whole process is don't be afraid. It's good to take risks, and honestly, I'm glad that I took the risk. And of course, embrace change. Embracing change is like key here. I did already make a video about embracing change, link down below, and I highly recommend watching that video after this one, but I think I just do a better job talking about embracing change in that video. And of course, with change comes risks. It's good to take risks, and I know that changing environments isn't really something that it's an easy choice to make. I mean, moving is not easy in itself. This is like one of the most difficult things, and that's why people don't do it often. It's just a pain in the ass, and it's also expensive. But I think it's just super worth it in the long term. I mean, it's only been a week, but I love this place. It's amazing. Basically, in the old place, I just kind of felt like stuck and stagnant, and I just really feel like I get to breathe new life into my routine and my daily life, and like, I don't know, I just feel more like alive. I feel like I'm living more instead of just existing. Does that make sense? But anyways, I really do feel like this is the next step in my life's journey, and I'm super excited for what's to come. I do also want to thank you for watching this brief journey that is moving and buying my first home. And by the way, these are two things that I've never actually done before. I mean, obviously buying my first home, that is my first home, but even moving, I've never really done like a full official move. Like, yeah, when I was a kid, I kind of moved around a little bit, you know, kids move because their parents move, whatever, right? But it's different when you're the adult. And it's also different when you are buying the place and moving into that place that you're buying. I'm the adult making the decisions. It's scary. But to anyone who's scared of taking big plunges, whether that be starting your own business, maybe going back to school for a different degree or a new degree, starting a YouTube channel, or buying a house, what I can say to you is you'll never know if it's a good idea if you never take the leap. Nothing great in life comes easy, and I truly think this was worth the effort.
Now drop a like and a sub.